So, well, just the beginning. Okay. So our agenda will be, we'll go through the introduction of Python, what Python is, why do we use it, and the people who are already aware of programming languages and how does it differ from other languages. Then we'll just dive into it and we will go through some variables and data types, and we'll discuss some differences from other languages as well. Then we will go on to control structures of the programming language, which all languages have, and then we'll write a simple program. Most probably I have written and a program, so apologies for that mistake. Okay, so any one of you can tell me what programming is? Yes, do I have to take names?
So programming is like writing a code or a instruction for the computer to work.
Okay, anybody else? Okay, nobody else. So okay, so computer programming is writing instructions for the computer to understand. So our whole idea is mainly to solve a particular problem. So is it just a set of instructions? Is it the communication of humans and the machines? That's what we are going through. So what programming is, we always try to solve some problems. Like uh, the problem that we'll be going through today will be how to find whether a number is a prime number or not a prime number. Anybody has done that program already? Can let me know.
Yes, sir.
Or you have done that prime number problem
Yes, sir.
in Python?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that is nice. So, what was the algorithm or what was the instructions that you thought of while writing that program? What was the whole idea? Okay, this is not a course as per se where we are trying to cover some syllabus. So, this will be more of an interaction between you and me rather than a set of instructions. I'm just giving it to you, right? So, some conversation will be nice. So what anybody can tell me about, anybody else has done prime number problem? Okay. So okay. So what is Python? Okay. What is Python? Any one of you can tell me will be nice, and we'll go in depth of it. You can say it's a computer programming language, can't you? At least that.
Sir,
Okay. Yes,
uh,
yes, Roshni.
it's a high level programming language.
What do you mean by high level programming language?
Um,
If there is some high level, there will be a low level programming language as well, right?
yes, sir.
So what is the difference between a high level programming language and a low level programming language?
High level is easier to use than the lower level languages.
Why?
Just
Okay. As you can see on this screen, the human instructions, and on the right, you can see one zeros, right? What is it? Anybody can tell me what is one zeros and the code that is written?
binary codes.
Binary codes, right? So what does the computer understand at the end is a binary code. It does not understand whatever you want to say. It understands only binary. It understands zero or one. It's the combination of those things that constructs an instruction or constructs at the hardware level as well, and as well as at the programming level as well. So the low level languages are those languages which are near to a machine. Like any one of you have heard about assembly language? Have you seen assembly language anywhere? Okay, no one. Anybody has idea how computers came into picture, or how computers were, I don't know, invented? Any wrong answers will be welcome as well. Okay, nobody is interested in conversation. Okay. So high level programming languages are those languages which are very near to what
So
human
Ishan, can
language.
you repeat? Your voice broke cause
Okay,
internet problem.
I apologize. We were discussing high level languages and low level languages. So like binary codes are low level language which a computer understands on its own in hardware form, right? The computer only understands one or zero. It does not understand anything else as per se. But high level languages are which gives you a environment in which you can write instructions in a language which is very similar to what humans can understand. Like 10, if I see this code 10 10 10, I won't understand a thing as a human, but a computer will understand what it means. Like your images are at the end of the day are just binary codes, right? But the computer know how to understand that code or that binary code, but you can't. So what people in the past did is that they came up with this idea that we can write a upper layer to a assembly code or a binary code which is easier for humans to understand. And when it is easier for human to understand, it is easier for them to write in it, right? Like English, I know English, and let's say we are in a conversation with a Chinese person. We don't understand Chinese, but we understand that English is a upper language which we can um, have the conversation in, and they can translate it in their head into a Chinese language, right? That's how it works. Like in your head, you are listening in English, but you have the meaning of that sentence is generally deducted in your own language or in whatever form that you want to have, right? So computers only understand binaries, or if we come up a certain level, then assembly languages. They don't understand high level languages as such. So a long time ago, the computers have been in picture for very very long time. Like if some people have idea that C language in itself was created in 1969. It was standardized in 1970 something, but it was invented in 1969. And if we talk about Python, Python was developed somewhere in 1980s. It didn't have the name Python. It did had the name Python, but it was slightly different. Then when they came into 2000s, it became popular and became Python 2.0. And then moving forward, we just call it Python. We don't give it the version values. So what version have you been using, Roshni? Roshni, you have the background in computer science, right? In Python.
Yes, sir.
So what version were you using for Python?
So what version?
Yes, there are different versions of Python. Okay, so what happens is when
Sir,
our lang okay, sorry.
sir,
Yes,
my
yes, I
sir, my 3.65.
3.65. Okay, nice. We'll be mainly discussing things in Python 3. We won't be going back to Python 2.7 because they are not really compatible with each other. The language slightly changed, and so in latest we'll be discussing Python 3, which is more stable than 2, and the instructions has slightly changed. That's all the difference there is two versions mainly. Like how all the programs, you find new releases of those programs, so what happens is you get some new functionalities and some old functionalities becomes obsolete. So that's how programming language versions work as well. Okay, moving on. We'll discuss what Python is. It's a general purpose programming language. What do I mean by that? By mean is that it can be used to write programs for anything. Like there are languages which have specific uses. Like there is a language called R language, which is similar to Python in the sense that they are heavily used in machine learning and AIs, but R has a very different structure and it can't be used for general purpose things. There is a Stata language which is specifically used for statistics, which is mainly used for deep learning and part of machine learning, but they are not really used for general purpose. With Python, you can create a web application, you can create a mobile application, you can create a certain scripts running on your server, and they are different things. It's a interpreted computer language. By that I mean is that a computer does not compile the entire code at a time and then use it. It interprets at it as it goes. It's like the set of instructions and that are executed only in sequence. It doesn't know how to compile it. Like the person who had Java here. Somebody had Java, right? Somebody had
Sir, I
Java.
did.
Yes, Akshat. So in Java, you might have seen, Akshat, that the program first gets compiled and you get a lot of compilers and
Yes,
all
sir.
those things, right? So what happens is that in Java, Java was a platform independent language. What happened was it converted the entire code into binary code. So if it needs to convert to something else, then it needs to compile it to a different code source in itself. Like in C, it converts to assembly language. In Java, it converts to binary language, and other languages other ways. But the scripting languages or the interpreted languages do not need that. So they are interpreted step by step. By
Aradhya question. Wow. Kudi.
sorry, was there someone saying something, or was that just a background noise? Okay, so what it means is that the execution of the code will be slower because computer has not converted it to something which is near to it. It is still converting your high level code to low level and then executing it. So it is comparatively slower to Java and C and other languages. Although it does take into account object oriented programming paradigm that we have. Anybody understands what object oriented? We won't be covering object oriented today because it's a huge topic in itself. But anybody has ideas? Java guy, Akshat will have some idea about what object oriented programming is. Anybody else? No. Somebody of you had some background in Python, right? So Roshni, did you not study object oriented yet programming?
No, sir. I
Okay.
was not told the location.
Okay. So what object oriented programming is? Okay, when computer science first came into picture in 60s and 70s, what happened was the programs or the machines that we had available at that time were mainly into running a batch of instructions and just executing it. And the process that we had or the paradigm that we had of writing code was we were mainly solving problems. We were thinking like, okay, we can let's say we have to write a program for accounts, so we were doing balance sheets and things like that. But when we then somebody started this whole idea that everything can be an object. And by object I mean everything will have some uh, attributes to it, also some functionality to it. Like you have a name, you attend a class is your functionality, you have a name is your attribute, you have a class in which you study, that's an attribute to you. But you go to that class, that's an action, that's a functionality that you have. So we thought everything as objects, and every object will have some functionality and some parameters or attributes or whatever you want to call it. So Python will be a lot easier to code than Java or C, C++. I'm writing just Java and C++ because they are both object-oriented programming. And but it will be slower to execute. As we discussed earlier, it was developed in 1980 way back, and it has just come into forefront because we are dealing with machine learnings and things like that, and Python has a huge library for machine learning. Okay, I can remove this. Okay, so what programming languages are is like any other language, right? If we are talk about English or Hindi or whatever language you want to talk about, all the languages has some structure. What they So the general speaking languages have grammar and other things like article and things like that. I'm not very proficient with languages, so I will be making some mistakes in nomenclatures. But so in programming languages, we have different structures, but uh, all they are structures all the same. Like first of all, we have keywords. We have some keywords in on the screen as well. But what do the keywords do? Anybody can tell me just from the name what keywords will be? I think the people who have background in programming will be able to tell me what keywords are. And no one. So Akshat, what is keyword? Am I audible or is my network gone again?
No, so you're audible, but I kind of do not remember.
Oh, that's okay. You can say I don't know or anything. At least I know that you're saying it, right? Roshni, anything you know about keywords? I'm naming out people who have background in computer science. That's all. Yes, Roshni. Anything you know? Okay. Uh, okay. So what keywords, as the name suggests, they are very important. Is that they play a very important role in defining. So okay, let me just first define what keywords are. Keywords are the words which are already reserved by the programming language. Like in Java, you must have seen that the main function tool in programming. What do you mean by that? Kumar Ayush, is your mic not working?
Yes,
Yes, yes, Ayush. What do you mean by that? Sorry.
सर जो मेन यूज होगा सर
जो main क्या हो सकता है? I'm sorry, you're not really. Your voice broke off. Okay, so they are only keywords which are reserved by the language. Like in Java, you will see integer, strings, and you will see the same in Python as well. In C, you will see a lot of words which are already reserved by the languages like for, while, if, else. And in the Python, we will also go through if, else, while, for, and then we'll go on to classes and things like that. So there are some words that you cannot use as per your use. They are already reserved by the system and they cannot be used in any other way. Like if I mentioned a class, then I'm going to create a class. I can't do anything else with class word. In like in this, you can see a lot of, there's true and false, right? You can't say true or false as anything else. They are Boolean values. Then import for importing things, return for returning things, if else. These all are keywords which are reserved by languages. They are just part of the structure of the programming. That's how the computer will not understand the code unless until it has some base on how to understand things, right? So keywords are the yes, they give main instructions to the system that okay, this is what we want to do here, and that is what computers understand on their own, or your interpreter or compiler understands on their own. The rest of it is your logic. Your logic is something which computer do not understand, it just executes it. So you will not have a lot of keyword errors, but you will have a lot of logical errors going forward. Okay, why can't I change the slide? Okay, now anyone with variables, we'll discuss variables. So what, as I mentioned earlier as well, you will find strings, boolean, and there are some other data types or different ways of storing data for us. So what variables are just the names we give to the memory location of the system. Is that if I say there is, like you have solved mathematical equations, right? So there will be x y in it. So variable means which values that can change overall. But if you see x y, it can have any value, but x and y have their certain names and they have a meaning in a context. How do I explain it to you? Okay, so let me just try to explain it over. Okay, I have to stop sharing first. Okay. Okay. So as the name suggests, variable will have any any name you want to say it. Let's say I want to write, I don't want to write X. Okay, give me a program, give me a problem statement. any problem statement will work fine. Okay, let's say we want to write a program which adds two numbers. Very simple program. It can't get simpler than that. Would it be okay if we continue with that problem, or do you want to come up with something else? Either no or yes will do just fine. मेरी आवाज आ रही है? Am I audible, guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so is it okay we go on with a simple yet boring problem of adding two numbers?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So if I ask you that we have a problem of adding two numbers, which was a big deal. If you talk about 1960s, it was a big deal to write those programs for computers. So let's say I want to add one and add two, right? Oh, sorry, my pad is not working properly. Sorry, right? This is how what we understand by addition of two numbers is. Now this, if I have written 1 plus 2, and now I need to, let's say, add two other numbers, let's say 5 plus 3. Now I have to add another number, and let's say I have to add 7. Okay, 1 plus 7, which still gives me 8. So either what I do is I write different numbers every time, and I just run it and see what is the result. We are writing 1 plus 2, but it won't be 1 plus 2, right? Like, let's say you were in NASA and you had to find the distance between Earth and Moon by some reflection of some light angle, right? Let's say that was a physics problem. Now those numbers will not be this simple, but either what you do is you write a program that can find distance between two things. Like, let's say this is something and this is something, right? Let's call it y, let's call it x, right? So, and this is the distance. So I want to find distance between x and y. So either what I do is I write a program and I do always put x as 1 and then put y as 2 and find, okay, the distance is 3. Then I put x as 5 and 3. Now what is x and y here? These x and y are the variables. By variables, I mean the x and y value can change every time. And all these instructions can be written as simply as x plus y, right? Is that something that you understand?
Yes, sir.
So these values, these x and y's are the variables because their values can change. Also, when a computer needs to execute, uh, let's say I want to do x is equal to, sorry, is equal to 200 and y is equal to 189. Let's say we come up with this, right? So computer has to know what x is. So there is where our keywords come into picture. We define x has to be something, right? So we say let's say x is a number. So we call it x is an integer and y is an integer. What it instructs the system to know is that, okay, x has some area in my memory. I have to know that this area is called x and it has some certain values. For this instance, it has a value 200. Now y is also, it also points to a memory location and it has certain values called 189, right? So the computer only understands that x points to a memory location and y points to a memory location, and these memory locations can have different values as the programmer wants to have. That is why we call x and y as variables, and you can have any number of variables that you want to have. I'll just stop this for a while. I hope this is clear, and we'll jump back to the presentation and we'll discuss this further. Why do I have to always change this? So by variables, I mean it can be X, Y, Z, A, B, C, Akshat, Roshni, Ayush, any name you want, anything you want, anything that is not part of keywords. That like Ayush will not be a keyword in any language most probably, unless until Ayush have created that language and he has come up with a keyword. So, and all these variables can be of different types. Like we need variables to have different values. Like some variables will have, like your name will be a string. Everyone understands what string is, right? Anybody has a doubt what string is?
No.
Okay, there are a lot of people who are not even responding. So nobody has any doubt on what strings are. Everybody understands what string is. If I call upon any name right
Yes, sir.
now, they will be able
Yes,
to
sir.
answer me.
Yes.
Okay, so I'll like to call upon Aradhya Kaushal. Tell me what string is. Aradhya, you can hear me, right? Okay. Kumar Ayush, you can hear me, right? Okay, I have to start asking you to unmute, guys. Okay, are there people who have left the conversation altogether? Okay, if it is clear
Sir,
for everyone.
sir, sequence of characters.
Sequence of characters. Okay, so if I write ABC, is it's a string or not?
Yes, sir.
Okay, nice. So yes, we can have single characters, we can have a sequence of characters, and the sequence of characters are called strings. We call them strings because their length is not fixed, and their the number of characters it can have can vary. So we gave it a special name called strings. Boolean, I think everybody understands what Boolean is, true or false.
Yes,
We
sir.
will, we will go through list and dictionaries later on. Other data types which generally contains, there are floating points, there are other structures that you can create on your own as well, data structures. We will not be diving much into data structures for now, or types of these things, because then it will take an hour on their own. So, okay, now what we have to talk about, we talked about what are variables, we talked about how data is stored, we didn't talk about what scope is. Now, there's a different concept called scope. I will be again switching to uh, next screen, new screen. I can share two screens. Okay, that's nice. Okay, so, okay, let me, what is this? Oh, this will take a lot of time. I cannot, I can clear. Okay, so right. So let's say I have a program called P1, which has, let's say, a variable called x is equal to 2. And then it has y, which I don't give any value. And then I have z. Now I go into the different lines of code, and later on I try to define x once again. Would the system allow me to define x once again? That's what my question is. We'll discuss scope in this respect. If I have already defined a variable called x, do you think the system will allow me to define another variable called x?
Also,
Why not?
uh,
Why should it not? It should not. It should not. The logical statement is it should not. But why should it not? What's the catch or limitation? Anyone else? Okay. So what we discussed earlier, that when I define a variable x, the system automatically knows, okay, that there is a memory in my program which is called x, right? This is what we discussed earlier, that this will be x, it will have some value, let's say for now it is 2. Now later on, if I try to define x once more, it will say, "Oh, I already have an identifier called x which I have mapped to a certain memory location," right? Now if I try to define that identifier once again, it can't do anything. It can only update that memory location, it can't redefine it. Otherwise it will have no idea which of those two you're talking about now, which x are you talking about. Let's say x is very crude example. Let's say we take something else. We take uh, okay, you have seen programs where you have or not programs itself, but you have seen portals or web portals where you have seen you can write first name and the last name, right? Two different kinds of name. A lot of
Yes,
places have
sir.
these. So if the programmer unfortunately did this, that he defined a name and it called it string and okay, gave it a name, let's say Ayush. Okay, sorry, my that is right. So now you understand that there is string with name and Ayush. Now I want to take the other name as well. Now I can't do it because if I do name again, I try to enter name and let's say so there's an instruction called input which is used in Python, and I take name is equal to input. I can erase this. Right. So what it does is it takes input from the user and put it into the memory address that name has. Like name will be assigned a memory location, let's say here somewhere. It will have a certain not limited size, but for the sake of presenting it, I'll take it as limited, in which Ayush was written because I defined that variable has the value Ayush. Now what I do is I do this and I enter, let's say, Roshni. We will be going through this program. What it will do, it will take this value and replace this value here, right? So
yes.
if I print the name once again, it will not be printing Ayush, it will be printing Roshni.
Sir, if we put the name in the input,
Uh, okay, I'll just, why don't we run a program? We can do that, right?
yes, sir.
That will be easier to see. Okay, again, a new share. Okay, I have some, I think, yes. Let's say we do this here. I was doing some things just for fun. Anyway, let me just remove all this. We don't even need this. Let's say I call it name and I don't do this. Enter name, right? Yeah, and I remove all this. This is not needed. Okay, so this, what ID do you use? If anyone programs in Python, what ID do you use? By ID, I mean there is an integrated development. This program, what I'm running is called PyCharm. Do you understand what IDE is?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Anybody who does not understand what IDE is or what I'm talking about when I'm saying IDE?
Sir, the software is the ID.
Yes, if we call it integrated development environment, that is the short full form of what ID means. So
Okay.
what I mean by ID is they are, you write programs somewhere, right? Although you can
Yes, sir.
write into a notepad and then save it as .py file and then run it with Python, you can do that. But the problem with that is in a notepad you will not get any, like you can see this is a different color than this.
Yes, sir.
This is a different color. So what it denotes is this green one says this is a string. That is, it's a literal string that I'm just writing enter name. It will, if I run this program, it will just show enter name, right? If you can see here.
Yes, sir.
So what it, this means this is a string. Input has a very special color because input is a already a function or a keyword used by system. So if you move your mouse or your pointer over to that word, it will define what it is. So it says, okay, it says reads a string from a standard input. By standard input, it can be keyboard, it can be any standard default input device you have, right? So it's a function, it is already used by system, so it gives it a different color. Name is something that you are writing, so it doesn't color it in any way, it just writes it in white, plain white, because that is up to you to understand. It is not some which something system has to understand. So if you're writing in a notepad, everything will look in black and white and you won't understand what is going on just by looking at things, or you won't understand what is your function and what is the function provided by the programming library in itself. So what we are discussing is name. So I'll define name as something. Let's say I define name as what was I saying? Ayush, I said, right? If I remember.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And it is saying something to me. Okay. There's a, apparently there's a dictionary in it. Okay. So I print, let's say original name is, and I write plus is just a concatenation of, we will discuss what operators are, and then I enter this and I then print updated, my mistake, updated name is plus name. Let's see what does this program do. What should it do? Anybody can just tell me from what they are seeing on the screen. I can remove this list. What will happen if I run this program?
सर आप जो भी नाम लिखोगे वो उसे रिप्लेस कर देगा.
Okay, so we will run it just for the sake.
It would print
I'm sorry, your voice just trailed off. I couldn't hear a thing. Sorry, who was speaking? Sorry. I haven't gotten used to your voices yet, so I would have some problem identifying who is speaking. Okay, someone was saying something, now they have left. So if I run this program, what it should do is it defines a variable called name and we put a value called Ayush in it. For the, I can do, I can change this to anything I want to because this is just a literal. I can write anything in a string. It is up to me. The computer has no idea what you are doing. It is saying some green that it does not understand this word, but that is the dictionary speaking, not the programming interpreter on its own. Then it says okay print, which is very straightforward command, that we are going to print something. Now what does print means? It just outputs the these value what it can make from this and just displays it on the screen. That's what print command does. Then I say okay, I want an input, I want the user to enter the name, and I just update the number, update the name, because that is again reassigned to name and it is printed on the screen. So if we run it, so we'll just what we did earlier, it says I use DTTDS whatever, and then it asks me to enter a name. So I'll enter new name, which we discussed Roshni, and I just entered updated name is Roshni, right? The is does not have a space. See, it is that kind of a dumb. It does not even understand that is and Roshni should have space. Okay, this was just a very small example of how programming instructions are executed and how variables work. Okay,
Yes, sir.
okay.
Yes.
Now we move on to the next step. My screen sharing is paused. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, then why is it saying screen sharing is paused? Okay, so l- the next, okay, now what we have covered, we have
Sir, it
covered.
is paused as in it's
सर
not
freeze हो
changing.
गया.
What can you see on your screen for
The
now?
ID.
Oh, you can still see the ID. Okay, I think, okay, I have to stop that sharing. Huh? Okay, I'll just, okay, this stops entire screens. Okay. Anyway, now you can see my presentation, right?
Yes.
Okay. So moving on, what we have discussed till now is what programming languages is. We discussed the first part of his grammar, what keywords are. Then we discussed, okay, how you can extend that grammar and define your own variables. And we also tried that on a simple program. But only defining variables and executing it one after the other does not give you any control, right? The computer does not decide anything yet. It is just executing step by step. You are not taking any decision in the program, right? We just had a name, then we updated it and we just printed it. We can do a lot of things like that without deciding anything. We can do certain things like we can add two numbers. You right. So the next step is how you put in your decisions into your program, because programming is a logical thing, right? You have to put some logic or some decision making inside the program. So that brings us to control statements or control structures of what computer how computers take decisions, or how it controls the flow of the instructions. So one is just the sequence part, which you can see, which you just saw, executing one after the other. That is fine. Then we have selection part, what we call if else blocks, that it finds if this condition is true, then do something. If it is false, then do something. So now we have two branches of decision making, right? Now it is going to execute two different codes depending on a certain condition. Let's say, uh, okay, let's what kind of sports do you watch? And the majority will win, and we'll discuss in that respect. Name sports. You can name sports, right?
Cricket.
Cricket. Okay. Nobody else watches anything. Are you telling me you are that studious of a guys? Nothing else?
Can
Sorry. Yes. Please go ahead.
you repeat the question, please? I was disconnected for a
Okay.
second.
Okay. So, what sports do you watch? We will discuss control statements with respect to some sports.
The football.
Football. Okay. European one, right? Okay. And okay, so we have one vote for cricket, one vote for football, and the next vote will win the context. So give me just cricket or football. Both will work
Sir
fine.
cricket.
Which one?
Sir cricket.
Cricket. Okay. So apologies for the football person, but we'll be discussing in terms of cricket. Okay. Now there is a sequence of players that have to. There's a batting order, right? The batting order that is already decided as per what you see on the screen before the execution actually happens, right? So what happens is, but you might have seen, the cricket people might have seen that if there's a left and right combination of batters going on in the middle of the pitch, then what they do is, if the left-handed batsman gets out, they put in the left-handed batsman. Now that is our decision making, right? That if the right-handed batsman got out, we would put a right-handed batsman here. If a left-handed batsman gets out, we'll put a left-handed batsman here. But and there will be another decision, if do we have more left-handed batsmen or right-handed batsmen or not, right? So there are some decisions that are going on, and depending on the outcome of those decisions, we execute a certain plan. That's how programming works. You decide at some level, and then you take one path or the other path. The rest of the batting order is going to be the same. The rest of only 11 players will play and they will go out to bat, and the rest of the structures will remain same. The only decision you're taking is, do you have more left-handed batsmen? Then you put in a left-handed batsman more, right? Okay, was that clear, or should I give some other example?
So,
Only, sorry, you were not audible.
so it's clear.
It's clear. Okay.
Yes, sir.
What about the rest of the people? Aradhya, are you there? I haven't heard from you like even once. Or is your mic not working? Even a chat will be nice to say that your mic is not working. Okay. Then we move on to the third, or the most uh, interesting one, if we can call it iterations ones. So I think you guys understand what iteration is. I hope you understand what iteration is. Anybody will be nice to pitch in.
No, sir.
No iterations. Okay. Okay. The people from computer science background will have some idea what iterations is. Actually, you had background in computer science, no?
Yes, I did. I did Java when I was in 7th and 8th, like 2 years.
Okay. So did you
I'm
not?
kind of out of practice right now.
Okay, but you do understand what for loops are, right? For loop and while loop.
Yes, yeah,
No, and
yes.
they. So what do you do in a for loop and a while loop, or any loops?
Loop
What,
is when it goes back to a single point.
it goes back to a single point.
It
What?
flows from one command to second command. Then if it's true or not true, depending on that, it may go back or continue forward.
Okay, okay. Okay, so that is what iteration. Iteration is going through certain things in a sequence, right? Or going through, like you iterate through numbers when you were small kids, 1 to 100, right? You iterated through 1 to 100, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, up to 100. So iteration is just going through a certain sequence depending on a certain condition that you have to stop it, right? Your iteration has to stop after some time. So that is where condition comes into picture. That's why we decided selection or conditions to be the first part. So as the uh, PPT shows, it decides whether it is true or false. Up till that condition is true, it will keep executing this block, this rectangular block. If it becomes false, it just drops out of that loop, or out of that iteration, and moves on how the rest of the code is written, right? Okay. So that was about control statements, and we will move on to, I think, for loop. And okay, why is my mouse? First, we will discuss what if else block is. We discussed in certain broader picture, but if we can, you can see the diagram. It will show that okay, there is a condition which is true or false. If it is yes, it executes a block. If no, executes the other block, and then it goes on to the common outside block. Like let's make a program on if else. Sharing has stopped once again. Why? Escaping results in sharing stopped. Okay. Right. So this was the program. We will remove this program once again. And okay. I want to tackle a problem. Let's say as you were going to discuss in prime numbers, so we can take a step back, and we will discuss what if a number is odd or if a number is even. Right. So okay. So this one will be from help from you guys, and you will tell me what to do. What will be the instruction? Let's discuss instructions on whiteboard, and then move on to okay, this is something else. Where did it go? New share whiteboard. I can okay, right. So let me just clear this, clear all drawings. Okay. Okay. Now I want to find if a number is a prime number or a even number. Oh, not the number is an odd number or an even number, right? So tell me the instructions in English, plain English. We are not writing code as such. We are just writing some instructions. What will we do if we need to find a number is prime or odd, or even or odd?
Sir, even can be divisible by 2 or cannot be
Okay. So let's say we will have a number, right? Should be divisible by
2.
2 or not, right? So we have two conditions. Either number can be divisible by 2 or it cannot be divisible. There cannot be any other condition from it, right? So if a number is divisible by 2, what it is?
Even.
Even. So we will write even here. And if it is not, it is odd, right? Now, if I write this as something like this, this is an instruction, this is an instruction. So if I go in sequence, what I'll do, I'll check the number. If it is divisible by 2, I'll write even. Obviously, it is going to be not and it will be odd, right? So if I write this code, will you can let me know if you can see my screen ID, right? You can see my screen, right?
So we can see the whiteboard only.
You can see the whiteboard only. That's how about now? Oh, it stopped. Just I'll sort this out later on. Where did my okay? Now you can see my screen.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let's say we have a number. Give me any number.
The 10.
10. Okay. So as I said, we will be discussing if else for only checking one conditions, right? So if this or okay, let me just
तो पहले एंटर नंबर करेंगे.
ये रटे रटाए प्रोग्राम जो है ना ये स्कूल के ये छोड़ दो चलो anyway let's do this, right? So to find that if number is completely divisible by any number, we have a different operator in computer science. We call it modulo operator, but it is represented as percentage sign. So it's a binary operator. By that I mean it takes two operands, one on the left side and one on the right side. It divides the left hand side operand to with the right hand side operand, and the remainder should be always zero, right? So and it gives just the remainder. That's what modulo does.
सर ये ब्रैकेट में नहीं आएगा.
Sorry.
ब्रैकेट में.
In Python, you don't need by bracket. You can put it there. That's not an issue, but it will just show you a warning that it is rendered because there are not multiple conditions. I can have multiple conditions as well. We will discuss it later. We can keep the bracket if you want. That's fine. The Python has very peculiar attribute. One of the most peculiar attribute with Python is that the indentation is very important. Indentation by indentation I mean the alignment of the code is very important. Like after if to identify what instructions it should execute, you need to press a tab. If you don't do it, give you an error. Like it is showing something here that you don't have any instructions or something like that. It is not giving indent expected, right? So it is expecting you to indent. So I print is divisible by 2. I print even number, right? And if we'll go with a not to 0, then I write odd.
सर हम एल्स स्टेटमेंट करके सीधे वही कर सकते हैं ना, एल्स प्रिंट ऑड नंबर।
Sorry. Yes, your voice broke off, so I was not completely able to understand.
सर हम इसकी जगह हम एल्स ही कर देंगे, एल्स प्रिंट ऑड नंबर। सर हमें सेकंड
Yes. आप जो है किस बैकग्राउंड है तो अच्छा, तो कंप्यूटर साइंस बैकग्राउंड वाले ऑलरेडी ये चीज समझते हैं कि इफ के बाद एल्स कंसेप्ट होता है हमारे पास. If you write this program, this is not wrong yet, right? Is there anything syntactically wrong with this program?
नो सर,
No,
वो
sir.
इजी रहता।
Right, so you can write it this way, but there are more optimized or better solutions of writing this. So we will try running this. Let's see what happens. Even number, right? Because obviously, first of all, we have number as 10. We have written it as 10. So now we'll introduce a variable. If I need to change 10, obviously I need to change 10 everywhere, right? In our case, there are only two places, but let's assume they were conditions of hundreds of conditions there. Now you have to replace every literal. So here comes the variables for our rescue, and we introduce number as 10, and we replace this as num and this as num as well. Even if we run this right now, it will still show this. Now if you want to change this number, you just have to edit at one place, and let's say 23, which will be odd number, right? It is still right program. It is not the problem with this program, the optimization or the it is not very efficient program. The reason being is it first need checks this condition, then it checks this condition. But we already know if this condition is not true, that this condition is obviously true. Of this is not true and this is always obviously true. So now we come to the if else concept. Like if this is not working, obviously the else is true. That is why we have a different control structure of if else. So we get change this if to, and we remove entirety of this because we don't need to check anything, and we just write else. It still works the same. Any doubts in this? Okay, no doubts. Okay, so we have discussed if else block. That's how. So what it says is if yes, if or we can. So that is what it does. It checks this, and if this condition fails, it directly jumps to this statement and things like that. So that is where if else, and there can be multiple if else. There can be uh, different cascading of if else. Like I can have if number is divisible by this, and if I need to check something else. Let's say I want to check number is not. Let's say 2 had a very special situation. Let's say we want to check if number is not 2. We don't want it to be 2. So we put another if, and we say num is equal to 2. Then what we need to do is print, okay, print it's 2. Let's say we call add this 2, and right. Can we execute it now? And let me change this to 2. Right, now you understand how these if else are working, or should I go through this? Anybody has a doubt in this?
नो सर।
Only I am hearing yes and no from one person only. Aradhya, you are present or not? Or should I mark your attendance as absent? Ayush, is it clear to you?
यस सर।
And Ayushi Srivastava.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and Roshni. I have to call everybody's name. Only Aradhya is not responding to me. Okay, so this was so This was very simple and we were just discussing if else. Now we will come to our program of the day. We will discuss how a number is a prime number or not a prime number. Okay. We can remove all this. This is not, I was just sample file. Okay. Now you will tell me how we decide if a number is a prime number or not a prime number. We will move on back to whiteboard. Yes. Anybody will be welcome to say what is a prime number. I hope everyone know what is a prime number.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So I don't think I have to pay you guys or do some donation to get my answer. What is the prime number? Tell me.
So numbers that are on that
And your number that are
divisible by only one and itself.
okay. Number only divisible that we have already found the operand as percentage or modulo. Divisible by themselves. That
Either one.
means either one or themselves, right? So this results in 0.
Yes.
And let's say I'm calling num, it is too tiring to write. Right? So this is the condition that you are telling me that identifies if a number is prime or not. Right? Anybody else has a better idea? Or some other idea? Not bad. Let's not call it better. Let's call it different.
Sir, a number which is greater than 1
And
and we can divide them with that number.
that is what she said. No? Okay. So, okay. So there are two conditions that you're saying that number is either divided by 1 and every real integer number is always divided by 1, right? That's why we take it out. And it is, so if I have this condition, let's say I have, well, let's say we take this condition, and I don't want to switch back and forth from whiteboard to programming. Okay, we'll discuss on whiteboard first. So let's say a number is 3. Is it a prime number? By your
Yes, sir.
condition,
Yes,
by your conditions, it says 3 is, when divided by 1, it will give remainder 0. Also, when 3 is divided by 3, it will give remainder 0. Right? Now I will
Yes,
change the
sir.
number. I'll change the number. I'll say this number is, let's say, 4. What do you say now?
The
Is it
number,
a prime number?
no, sir.
But what does your
according to
condition say?
No, sir.
conditions, yes.
According to conditions, it is.
So we have to use else statement.
Okay, let's, no, but okay. We have to write else statement. Let's say, okay, let's write else statement. Why not? Now you want to tell me that this should be an if statement. So if this is happening, then what should I say? And let's say there's an else, right? That is what you're saying.
Yes, sir.
So if 4 comes into this, then 4, what should I say here? It should be a if it is divisible by 1 and it itself, it is always a prime number, so I can only write prime here, right? And if with this conditions, even 4 will get represented as prime number. So this condition needs to change. This is not the right condition, first of all, right? वो डायलॉग सुना होगा आप लोगों ने, कान ऐसे ना पकड़ के वैसे पकड़ना है बस, right?
Sir,
You can,
and it is not divisible by any number less than the given number.
Okay, so we'll change this condition. Now we are talking. So we will change this number. We will strike this off. This is a wrong statement. It is a correct statement, but not good for writing instructions, right? So what are you saying? You are saying that number is what divided by?
Is only divisible by itself,
It, so you
not
okay?
divisible by any
When
number less than the given number.
okay, so if it is not divisible by num, I am writing num once again. I'm apology for that. Okay, so this is not 11. This is a bracket for me. If it is, it does not return remainder as 0, then it should be a prime number. But only when I have iterated this number from, obviously 1 is always true, so we'll iterate this number from 2 to num minus 1, right?
Yes.
That is what we understand from these instructions. Anybody has a doubt on this? Then we will move on to programming. Nobody has a doubt. Okay, I am stopping this now, and I am again sharing. Okay, so what we said, we will have a number. I'll skip the changing from variable to literals because we understand what variables are. Let's say we have a number and it has nothing, and we just want to get a number. So we'll say num is equal to input. We want to get input from user, right? Input user should enter the number, and then we can tell him if it's a prime number or not a prime number. And we say enter the number. And just for the visual aspects, we write this, and right. So we'll have a number in num variable. Now we have to check that this number is not divisible by any number between 2 and num minus 1, right? That's what the condition that we came down to, right?
Yes, sir.
So tell me a loop.
Sir, range is क्या?
Sorry,
Sir, range.
ring,
Range.
range. Okay, range लिखते हैं. Okay, tell me the exact instructions. I have a while loop in my head, so that's why I'm asking you. And I might make mistakes because I write in a lot of languages and make mistakes all the time. I do it with while if you guys don't mind, or we can do it with for, right? Okay, tell me the syntax for 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 loop. Oh, somebody send me up. Okay, if number is greater than 1 for in range. Okay, we will use the for part. We will not be using num part. Okay, that is interesting. That condition that you just put of if is interesting. You can use it. Yes. So we will use this. Okay. If number or num in our case is greater than 1, of course it should be greater than 1. If somebody has entered 1 or 0, it should not count, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Now he says, IU says that we will should put a for loop with I, or you can say n, in range. In range only does is what it does is it goes through all the numbers between that range. That's all it does, right? So 2, and he says num. Now I have to check condition, of course, that okay, I'll remove these braces as well. It will give me a warning. Num modulo, what do we have in this for loop? We have n. So we write n is equal to 0 If it is divisible, of course, we write not prime. Not prime. And with else, you want to write prime. Okay. Right? Okay. For loop is over. If is over. And I want to write else in this. Let's say I write print. It is only one. It is only one or less. Okay. It says something here. Okay. It's a binary operator. That's why it says. All right. Shall I run it? Or do you see some issues in this program?
No, sir.
So you can run.
Okay. So there's one issue. First of all, your program will crash basically.
Sir, we have to use break.
We have to use break. Okay.
Yes.
Why? First of all, your program will crash. The reason being is the input automatically takes the number as string, or because it can only identify this as a string. It does not know that this is a number. So what you have to do is you have to tell the system that this is a number, this is an integer. So what I do is num is equal to int of num. Okay. What it does is simply just converts 23 as a string, from a string to 23 as number. That's all it does. Okay, so somebody was saying that we should write a break statement. So why is break statement important and why do we have it?
So without it, the program will keep on executing.
It will keep on executing until the this range is finished, right?
Yes, sir.
So why don't we try running it? It will be fun to see it. We'll put a small number. Let's say we put 8. Let's see. Okay. Now we see not prime, prime, not prime, 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 prime. So 3 times we get. So why is this happening? You're right that break statement is missing. That's one of the reasons. Yes. But why is this happening? Anybody from non-programming background can tell me. Okay. The people have went off the session apparently. Okay. I think all three of you have some idea in programming, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. That is good for me. So, okay. So where should I put the break statement?
सर सर एल से पहले.
L से पहले यानी
So in the
in the end. Okay, we'll try both of them. Why not? One is saying here. So we'll try
sir
running
after
after. Oh,
After
okay.
the first else.
After the first else, this one, right? So we'll try this here first of all. Then we'll try this here. We again will enter the same number. We won't change the inputs. It works fine, guys. So okay, now I'll try the other way around. And you want it here, right? Can I run it now? It should say not prime and prime. So obviously this is not supposed to be here. Why did you guys say it should be nils? Why should it break out in nils? Am I audible?
yes, sir.
So that's because that's where the first loop ends.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. What I'll do is I will do another thing to you. I will write how it is working, right? So next number is what I'm next number is nothing but the number we are using as divider or whatever you call it in mathematics to divide the number, right? So I write n. this will give you a better picture of what is happening. I will still write 8. Okay. Okay. Sorry. And a traceback error. What happened? Can only concatenate string, not integer. Okay. String. I have to type. This is not, this needs to be imported as capital maybe. No. What does it have? How do I typecast this? Strings. String. How do you typecast this to string? Okay, I'll import the. Okay, let's see. Oh, text encoding. And this is not what I want. Oh, I'll just Google it once. Type setting int to string Python. str. Okay. Enter the number. We'll put 8. Okay. So it tries first for 2. Then it says not prime because it is divisible by 2, of course. And then it says the next number is 3 because it didn't break out from here, right? That's why the next iteration happened. And now it says the number is prime. So first of all, if we have divided that number with any number, it is not a prime in any way, right? You don't need to go on, right? Is that is correct, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
What about this else? Do you need it?
No, sir.
But if I remove it, how will you find if a number is prime or not?
Sir, it
It will work with if
will
only.
identify the not prime numbers.
It will correctly identify the not prime numbers. But the objective or the agenda is to write a program that identifies if a number is prime or not prime, not just if it is not prime, right? So we have to cater in the concept of how to find if a number is prime, because what will happen here is that if I put in 5, let's say we will run this once more and we'll put 5. So it is prime. Okay, which one will fail? I to 2 to 7. 7 will have some issue. 7 or 9. 9 most probably will have an issue. 9 is coming out as prime number, which it is not. So why would this happen? First of all, because we broke out of the loop. That's the main problem. That able to do it with 2, of course, and 2 else, and it just broke out. It found that it is not divisible by 2, and so is okay. Am I audible, guys? My connection is saying it is
It's
unstable.
breaking.
It's breaking, but it's now fine.
It is fine now. Okay. So what it is saying is that if a number is not prime, it automatically assumes that it is a prime, although it has just done the single iteration. So we don't need this. First of all, we kind of need this, but it can't be true every time. This condition is absolutely true. If a number is divided, obviously it is not going to be prime, and we need to break out of this loop because there is no point iterating it more. But this does not make any sense, so we will remove this. Right now, anybody can suggest me how we can find if this loop resulted in a prime number or not a prime number. If I put in 7, it won't say anything. That's what it will happen. I put in 7, so it will just put in the next number, next number, next number, but will not say whether 7 is a prime number or not a prime number. Any solutions you guys have in your head? Any solutions? Any wrong
So
solution?
the
Yes.
else necessary.
Else is not necessary, because if we put in the else, what will you do? If a number is, because we are going through an iteration, right? If a number is not divided by 2, that does not mean it's not a prime number. It's a prime number, right?
Yes, sir.
But it means it is not a prime if it is divisible by 2 or 3 or 5 or any number. So this statement is absolutely correct, that if that number is divisible by any number between this range, it is not a prime number. But what if it is not divisible by some, but divisible by some other numbers, which is what a lot of numbers are, right? Like 9, 15. So we need to find out if this statement ever got hit or not, right? We need to find out whether we entered this if statement, we ever entered this statement or we did not. That's all we need to know. So what we'll do, we'll take another thing. We'll say, let's say, not.
Sir, how like if a number is divisible by any number less than the given number?
Just a
Like
second. Just a
if
second. Just give me a second, please. Yes. Sorry. Yes. Yes. If a number is,
like if we take example 6 and it is divisible by a number smaller than 6, like 3 or 2, and same with 9, it is
divisible by
divisible
3.
by, yes sir, but 2 isn't divisible by any number less than, like it's divisible by 1 but it's not divisible by any.
Okay. So one we are not taking, because we have put in this condition. As thankful to Ayush as I am, this condition was put in the right place, that we have to start from greater than 1. The number has to be greater than 1, first of all. Okay. So, okay, I'll give you a quick solution for it, because it is 10:30 and it will take a lot of time otherwise. So what we'll do is, the number can be prime or not prime, right? We just need to find out if this code resulted in a not prime or not. Did it hit this or not? Did it come out because it hit this break statement, or did it come out because this range was over, right? That's the question we have. That's the condition that we need to check. If this was executed, if this break statement was encountered, or if it was not encountered. That's all we need to know. So what we'll do is, we'll take a flag. By flag, I mean any variable which can have a true value or a false value. So I'll say let's not prime is equal to false. And okay, it says something. Unresolved false. Why it doesn't take false like this? Why is this? Oh, I have to read. Or did you can't write? It should be. Mm, why is this not taking this? Oh, this is reformat the file. This is update sheet. Okay, we can just skip this part. That's not an issue. We can use anything. We can use 1 0. We can use false. We can use anything. Let's say it is 1. I'll use false sometime else. Why is it not taking false? I'm not sure. Okay, so I set this value as 1. Let's say we call 1 as true and 0 as false. Would that be understandable to you guys? Yes, we can
Yes sir.
treat 0 as false and 1 as true. So I say not a prime. That means if it enters here, then I just need to set this value to 1. right? This makes sense.
Yes, sir.
And after coming out of this loop, I just need to check if not prime is equal to 1 or not or equal to 0, then it prints prime number. Does this program make sense to you? We can check it after running it, after we, okay, did I, okay, yes. Anything that you are not able to understand in this?
No, sir.
Okay, very good. Anyway, so we'll run it and we'll see. Give me any number that you want to. Let's say 7, just for the check the sanity of it. It is a prime number. It went through all the possible combinations. Then we put in another number. Give me a number if you want to.
9.
14.
14 and 9. I heard 2. 14 I put. So next number is not a prime. Of course, we can remove this statement because we don't need it anymore. That was just for a bit debugging statement. And we'll run this one again. And we heard 9 as the last number. We'll put 9, not prime. Okay.
Yes, sir.
We can, okay, you guys have 5 more minutes. Then I'll just like to discuss something and then we'll just find out. You have 5 more minutes? Yes, would be nice.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this program is still not really, how do I say it? This is not optimized, right? Like let's say if I run with 105, it says not prime, and it, or let's say let's do it better. Let's do it. What do you think? 111 will be prime number or not prime number? It should be a prime, right?
91.
No, not prime. 91 is a prime number?
No, sir.
No, sir. Oh, it is 7 divisible by 7. 93 will be a prime number, right?
Yes, sir. 90.
So if I, okay, I
It
removed
is
that
divisible by 3.
93.
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Yes, it is. It should be divisible by 3. What happened? Oh, it is not prime. Okay. So 97, which number should be a prime number? Give me, it can't. 57. I'm sure 57 is not prime.
Sir, 3 same.
So 107.
No, 57 is also not prime. What is happening? Okay, it is divisible by 3. Okay, sorry. 53. 53 should not be. Okay. 53 is a prime number, right? So if we remove one statement here, I just want to show you something, right? If I run this for 53, if you can see this list, do you think that there is any chance that 53 will be divisible by 33 or 31 or anything more than 26?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Right? If you cross the half of that number, if you have crossed that number and in a sequence, of course, then you have already covered everything. Number can only, if it is, obviously we are talking about prime numbers, so it can only be half. At best it can be half of something like 34 divisible by 17. So at max we should go to 17. After 17 it makes no sense of going any further, right? We already know this. So
Yes.
what we can do is we can change this range and we need to put in this just to okay, sorry, because we need it to be integer, otherwise it will be a point and decimal points, and that will be a problematic. So now I put in what did we put 53. Now it goes to 25 and it says it's a prime number. I can't do anything more. So that is how you optimize or how you make your programs efficient. That is how you critically think on your operations, and you think, okay, where can I save time and where can I save memory? So that's the entire concept of programming. We need to make your programs efficient and much. It can be made more efficient, but we will not go through it right now. We can, you basically have to go till your square root, right? If you're if you're if you can represent any number, let's say, I'm not, that's not a code, I'm just writing it because I am too lazy to switch to whiteboard. Number can only be represented m cross n, right? Any number can be if it is divisible by anything apart from itself and one, then it is always m cross n, right? Yes, no,
Yes, yes.
yes,
So
yes, please. Okay. So if a number can only be represented as m cross n, and we are going through a sequence, let's say we are crossing m, right? From m is equal to 2 to something, something, something. Let's say anything. So either m will be greater here or n will be greater here, right? Either of them will be greater than each other. But because we are going into within a sequence, we are iterating through every number between them. So what we'll do is m can never be greater than n, because if you have covered that number already, there's no point covering n. So let's say if we talk about 7, so the square root of 7 will be in something of the range of 2 point something, right? Let's say 2.5. 2.5 will 6.625, right? 5.25. What does it give? Anyway, something like that. And 2.x, let's say. So there is no point going any further than 3. It is not going to be divisible by it because you're going in a sequence. So that's the upper higher level of thinking, and you can go to SCF. The highest level is SCF, that is developed by some MIT people. So that is how your programming will be. That is how we'll be optimizing our programs going into future. We will be covering Python in detail. We will cover object oriented programming on next classes. And if you guys can come up with some problem statement, that will be very nice for our next session. So we will discuss that problem statement, and in that next class of that class, we will try to implement it. Okay.
yes,
Okay, we will wind up this class. It is really late today. And okay, I hope you had a good session. And I will be grateful if you guys can set up Python environment at your end. If you do have some issue, get in touch with Nishkarsh. He'll get in touch with me and I'll help you out, guys.
yes.
Okay. Good night for today.
Thank you,
Have
sir.
Thank you
have
so
okay. Have fun for the week.